Humans took down the most dangerous predator with just one slap in a smoky bar on a creaking space station. Where starlight barely pierced the grime-streaked windows, old Jonas leaned over a battered table, his gravelly voice cutting through the din. "Ever hear of the Varaxian beast?" he asked, eyes glinting with a secret too wild to keep. The crowd froze, pilots, traders, drifters, all caught in his spell. A monster that could shred steel and feast on fear itself, taken down by Dr. Amelia Harper with a single slap. A pilot scoffed, but Jonas's grin widened. "Don't believe me? Stick around, cause this tale's got a twist that'll make you question everything you know about courage, beasts, and what really lurks in the stars. Please wait. Before we start, tap that iCard button in the top right corner and smash that subscribe button. Right now, hit the notification bell so you're first in line when new stories land. Alright, let's dive into the story. Chapter 1. The space station's bar buzzed with life, its metal walls echoing with the clatter of glasses and the low hum of voices. Dim lights flickered overhead, casting shadows that danced across the faces of pilots, traders, and weary travelers. The air smelled faintly of engine oil and cheap liquor, a gritty mix that clung to the senses. At the heart of the room sat Jonas, an old storyteller with a face carved by time. Deep lines framing gray eyes that twinkled with mischief. His silver hair hung in a loose ponytail, and he flashed a gap-toothed grin as he tapped his glass on the table, a steady rhythm that drew every eye to him. A crowd pressed in close, their anticipation crackling like static. Jonas leaned forward, his chair creaking, and let his gravelly voice roll out like a ship's engine firing up. "Gather round, you lot," he said, his tone low and sly. "I've got a tale that'll rattle your bones. It's the true story of Dr. Amelia Harper, how she took down the Varaxian beast, the galaxy's nastiest predator, with nothing but a single slap." A snort cut through the air. A young pilot at the crowd's edge smirked, arms crossed tight over his leather jacket. "A slap? Seriously, old man? What's next? She sank to sleep." Jonas chuckled, slow and deep, unfazed. He took a swig from his glass, letting the silence stretch just long enough to hook them all. "Laugh if you want, kid. Happened on Varaxia, a planet so deadly even you'd think twice before landing. Amelia faced that monster and walked away. Stick around, and I'll tell you how." The pilot scoffed but dragged a chair over, plopping down with a shrug. "Fine. Prove it." The crowd buzzed, a trader with a scarred cheek muttering, "This I gotta hear." A waitress froze mid-step, her tray of drinks tilting slightly as she stared. Even the bartender paused, rag hovering over a glass, caught in Jonas's spell. Jonas set his drink down with a soft clink, his eyes sweeping the room. Now, Amelia wasn't your average scientist. She had guts, brains sharper than a blade, and a spark that could light up a black hole. But that slap? Oh, there's more to it. A twist that'll make you question everything. A hush fell, thick and heavy. The pilot's smirk faded, his brow creasing. Jonas leaned in, voice dropping to a whisper. "See, the Varaxian beast wasn't just claws and teeth. It thrived on fear, fed on it, and grew stronger with every tremble." And Amelia? She cracked its secret wide open. The bar went still, the distant hum of the station's engines the only sound. Jonas savored it, taking a slow sip before easing back. But I'm jumping ahead. Let's start where it all kicked off, a jungle planet thick with danger, where one wrong step could end you, and a roar could stop your heart cold. The crowd settled in, eyes locked on him, as Jonas began to spin his tale, pulling them into a world of peril and a woman bold enough to defy it. Chapter 2. The planet Varaxia was a breathtaking paradox, a deadly paradise cloaked in splendor. Its sprawling jungles unfurl beneath a canopy of colossal trees, their leaves as wide as doorways and edged with a razor-sharp bite that could slit skin with a careless brush. The air hung heavy, drenched in humidity, swirling with the intoxicating perfume of alien blooms undercut by a faint, sinister whiff of rot. Each step sank into the mossy, yielding earth, a sensation akin to treading on something alive. At the same time, a ceaseless drone of invisible insects thrummed through the stillness, an ominous heartbeat pulsing in the shadows. Yet Varaxia's true terror wasn't its landscape, it was the Varaxian beast. Towering over 10 feet, the creature was a nightmare sculpted in the flesh, its sinewy frame clad in glossy black scales that shimmered like spilled ink under the jungle's muted glow. Its claws, wickedly curved and glinting, shredded steel-like tissue, and its maw bristled with crooked, yellowed fangs, each a dagger poised to pierce bone. But its eyes were the worst, twin crimson embers that burned into you, radiating a dread so primal it rooted you to the spot. This wasn't a mindless predator. The beast played with its victims. Survivors, those rare, broken few, whispered of its sadistic cunning. A grizzled old soldier, his face a map of scars, once rasped. It's like it drank our fear. The louder we screamed, the stronger it got. Faster, fiercer. We were done before we knew it. Another tale came from a trader, voice quaking as he recalled. I saw it tear a guy clean in two, laughing, asterisk like it loved his panic. It chased me slow at first, letting me hope, then bam, it leaped, grinning like a devil. The legends multiplied, each more harrowing until Varaxia's name became a curse. Star maps branded it with one word: avoid. Ships veered wide, and even grizzled bounty hunters scoffed at jobs leading there. But Dr. Amelia Harper and her crew didn't flinch. They had a mission, and no ghost story, however monstrous, would deter them. Their ship pierced the planet's soupy atmosphere, the jungle sprawling below like an endless green abyss. Amelia stood at the viewport, her piercing green eyes drinking it in. Beautiful, isn't it? She murmured, almost to herself. Captain Marcus Reed, arms crossed beside her, grunted. Yeah, beautiful like a loaded gun. Don't get cocky, Doctor. She smirked, flicking a dark strand of hair back. Relax, Marcus. I've stared down worse than this. He arched a brow, unconvinced. Worse than a fear-eating freak with claws. Amelia shrugged, cool as ice. Fear's all in your head, and mine doesn't crack. From behind, technician Sarah Lopez let out a snort, her curls bouncing as she tinkered with the scanner. That's why you're the boss, Doc. But if that thing shows, I'm using you as a shield. Amelia flashed a grin. Fine by me. Now quit yapping. Let's hit the ground running. The ship settled with a hiss, and the team braced to plunge into Varaxia's depths, blind to the fact that the jungle and its beast already had them in its sights. Chapter 3. The ship's descent through Varaxia's swirling atmosphere was a breathtaking display of emerald greens and misty purples, the jungle canopy stretching endlessly below. Dr. Amelia Harper, a fearless 32-year-old xenobiologist, stood at the viewport, her sharp green eyes wide with wonder. Her short, dark hair framed a face glowing with excitement, and her sleek black suit hugged her athletic frame, signaling her readiness for the unknown. Isn't it incredible? She whispered, her voice trembling with awe. The biodiversity here must be off the charts. Captain Marcus Reed, a rugged 35-year-old soldier with a buzz cut and a jagged scar across his jaw, stood beside her, arms crossed tightly. It's a death trap, Doctor, he grumbled. Don't let the pretty colors blind you. Amelia spun toward him, flashing a mischievous grin. Oh, Marcus, lighten up. Where's your sense of adventure? Left it back on Earth, he shot back, his tone dry. I'd rather keep my head attached than lose it to some overgrown lizard. From the cockpit's rear, technician Sarah Lopez, a wiry 28-year-old with bouncy curls, laughed as she fiddled with the scanner. He's got a point, Doc. This place screams doomed expedition, but I'm here for the popcorn-worthy drama. Amelia's laugh rang out, bold and unshaken. Doomed? Please, Sarah, we're not just surviving this. We're making history. Marcus shook his head, a reluctant smirk tugging at his lips. History's full of brave idiots who didn't come back. Just saying. She clapped a hand on his shoulder, her grip firm and warm. Relax, Captain. I've got your back and you've got mine. Sarah piped up, smirking, and I've got the scanners. If anything with claws and a bad attitude shows up, we'll see it coming. The ship jolted as it landed in a small clearing, engines humming to a stop. Amelia's excitement surged as she grabbed her gear. All right, team, stick to the plan. We're here for the flora, those rare medicinal plants. But keep your eyes peeled for anything weird. Marcus hefted his rifle, his gaze sweeping the jungle's edge. Weird, like a 10-foot monster with teeth the size of my arm. Amelia rolled her eyes, her tone teasing. Yes, Marcus, even that. But I doubt it's waiting to roll out the welcome mat. Sarah snickered, slinging a bag over her shoulder. Unless it heard about your famous slap doc. Maybe it wants a front row seat. Amelia blinked, puzzled. My, what now? You know, Sarah said with a wink. The slap that took down the Varaxian beast. Or so the legend goes. Amelia burst out laughing. That's ridiculous. I haven't even met the thing yet. Marcus muttered, let's keep it that way. The team stepped onto Varaxia's soil, greeted by a chorus of alien chirps, rustling leaves, and faint, eerie roars. The air hung heavy with humidity, thick with the sweet scent of strange flowers and the musk of damp earth. Amelia inhaled deeply, her pulse racing. This is it. This is what I live for. The unknown, the thrill. Marcus's eyes darted to the tree line, his voice low and tense. The unknown bites, Doctor. Hard. Sarah adjusted her scanner, grinning. And when it does, we bite back. Right, Doc? Damn right. Amelia shot back, her resolve ironclad. Let's get to work. Unseen in the jungle's depths, crimson eyes glinted, the Varaxian beast silently tracking its new visitors, hungry for a challenge. Chapter 4. The team pushed deeper into Varaxia's jungle, their boots sinking into the soft, mossy ground with every step. The air was thick and humid, carrying the sweet scent of alien flowers mixed with the earthy musk of decay. Towering trees loomed overhead, their massive leaves blocking out most of the sunlight, casting the jungle floor in a perpetual twilight. Strange, glowing insects flitted through the air, their tiny lights flickering like distant stars. Amelia led the way, her eyes wide with fascination as she scribbled notes in her journal, pausing occasionally to snap a photo of a particularly vibrant plant. Isn't this place amazing? She exclaimed, her voice filled with awe. Look at that flower. It's bioluminescent. And those vines, they're moving on their own. Marcus, walking a few steps behind her, kept his rifle at the ready, his eyes scanning the dense foliage for any sign of danger. Yeah, amazing, he muttered sarcastically. Just what I wanted, a jungle full of things that can kill us in ways we haven't even imagined yet. Sarah, trailing at the back with her scanner in hand, chuckled. Come on, Marcus, where's your sense of adventure? This is like something out of a sci-fi movie. Exactly, Marcus shot back. And in those movies, someone always gets eaten. Amelia rolled her eyes, though a smile tugged at her lips. Relax, Captain. We're not in a movie. Besides, the Varaxian beast is probably just a myth. No one's actually seen it and lived to tell the tale, right? Marcus grunted. That's not as reassuring as you think it is. Suddenly, a deep, guttural roar echoed through the jungle, shaking the ground beneath their feet. Birds screeched and took flight, their wings beating frantically as they fled the area. The team froze, their hearts pounding in their chests. What the hell was that? Sarah whispered, her voice trembling. Marcus tightened his grip on his rifle, his eyes darting around. Something big and close. Amelia's curiosity outweighed her fear. She took a step forward, peering into the dense undergrowth. That didn't sound like any animal I've ever heard. We need to check it out. Are you out of your mind? Marcus snapped, grabbing her arm. We're here for plants, not to chase after whatever made that noise. Amelia shook off his grip, her eyes flashing with determination. This could be a groundbreaking discovery, Marcus. Imagine if we're the first to document a new species. Sarah, still clutching her scanner, looked between them nervously. Guys, maybe we should just stick to the plan and get out of here as fast as we can. But Amelia was already moving, pushing through the thick vines and heading toward the source of the roar. Come on, you two. Where's your scientific curiosity? Marcus cursed under his breath, but followed her, his rifle raised. Fine, but if we die, I'm blaming you. Sarah hurried after them, her scanner beeping softly. So that you know, my curiosity is currently being overridden by my survival instincts. As they ventured deeper into the jungle, the air grew heavier, and the sounds of the forest seemed to hush, as if the entire ecosystem was holding its breath. Then, without warning, they stumbled into a clearing, and there it was, the Varaxian beast. It was even more terrifying than the legends described. Standing over 10 feet tall, its muscular body was covered in sleek, black scales that shimmered in the dim light. Its claws were long and razor-sharp, glinting menacingly, and its jaws were lined with jagged, yellow teeth. But it was the eyes that sent a chill down their spines, two glowing red orbs that seemed to pierce right through them. The beast let out another deafening roar, its hot breath washing over them like a wave of dread. Sarah let out a small yelp, stumbling backward, while Marcus instinctively raised his rifle, though his hand shook slightly. "Amelia, get back!" he shouted, his voice tight with fear. But Amelia didn't move. She stood her ground, her heart racing, but her mind sharp and focused. Something inside her refused to yield to the terror that gripped her team. As the beast charged toward them, its massive paws thundering against the ground, she felt a surge of defiance. She wasn't going to let this creature win. "Amelia, run!" Sarah screamed, her voice shrill with panic. But Amelia didn't run. Instead, she stepped forward, her hand raised, ready to act. Chapter 5. The Varaxian beast charged, a hulking mass of muscle and fury tearing through the clearing. Its jaws snapped inches from Amelia's face, hot, rancid breath blasting her skin as the ground quaked beneath its weight. Sarah's screams sliced through the chaos, sharp and frantic, while Marcus cursed under his breath, fumbling with his rifle, his sweat-slicked hands trembling. "Amelia, move!" Marcus yelled, his voice breaking with panic. But Amelia stood her ground. Her pulse thundered in her ears, yet a strange calm settled over her. This thing wouldn't touch her team, not if she could help it. As the beast lunged, claws gleaming, she reared back and swung her hand with every ounce of strength she had. The slap landed hard, a deafening crack ringing out as her palm met its scaly cheek. For a split second, everything stopped. The beast's glowing red eyes widened, its massive frame frozen mid-attack. Then, with a pitiful whimper, like a scolded pup, it stumbled backward, legs buckling beneath it. Dust exploded into the air as the creature crashed to the ground, motionless. Sarah gaped, her hands clapped over her mouth. Did you just slap that thing to death? Amelia stared at her stinging hand, chest heaving. I think so. Marcus edged closer, rifle still raised, and prodded the beast's limp form with the barrel. "It's not moving. Is it really dead?" "Looks that way," Amelia said, her voice steadier than she felt. "But how? That shouldn't have worked." Sarah shook her head, still wide-eyed. "What if you hit some secret off-switch? Like in those kung fu flicks?" Marcus snorted, lowering his gun. Or maybe it was so stunned a human had the guts to smack it, its brain just gave up. Amelia crouched beside the beast, frowning as she studied its lifeless face. The scales felt cold under her fingers, and those menacing eyes now stared blankly upward. "This doesn't add up," she muttered. A creature this size, this strong, one slap shouldn't have taken it down. Sarah smirked, crossing her arms. "Maybe it was already having a rotten day, and you were the last straw." "Great," Marcus quipped, holstering his rifle. "Amelia," the beast whisperer. "Next time, just glare at it and save us the trouble." She shot him a look, then stood, brushing dirt off her suit. "Laugh all you want, but something's off here." That reaction was too weird. "Agreed," Sarah said, her tone softening. "But hey, it's down, we're not. That's a win for now." Amelia nodded, though unease gnawed at her. As they gathered their gear and turned from the clearing, she couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't just dumb luck. The beast's collapse hid a secret, one she'd have to uncover. What she didn't yet know was how that mystery would unravel everything they thought they understood about Varaxia and its deadliest predator. Chapter 6. The team had returned to their makeshift camp, a small clearing dwarfed by towering trees that stretched into the humid Varaxian sky. The air buzzed with the distant calls of jungle creatures, a constant hum that mingled with the faint whir of their portable screen. Inside the tent, they huddled around it, eyes glued to the flickering news feed piped in from their orbiting ship. Headlines blared across the galaxy. Scientist slaps Varaxian beast to death. The words flashed in bold, accompanied by shaky footage of Amelia's now infamous moment. "There it is again," Sarah exclaimed, jabbing a finger at the screen. "They're calling it the slap heard across the galaxy." "You're a legend, Doc." Amelia shook her head, a wry smile tugging at her lips. "This is surreal. I never signed up for this kind of attention." Marcus leaned against a crate, arms crossed, his gruff voice cutting through. "Better enjoy it while it lasts. Fame's fleeting, especially when the next monster shows up." Just then, the tent flap rustled, and Dr. Patel stepped inside, his lab coat rumpled from the trek through the jungle. He clutched a tablet, his dark eyes alight with curiosity. "Dr. Harper, I've been analyzing the data, and I must say, this is fascinating." Amelia turned to him, eager. "What have you found?" Dr. Patel tapped his tablet, pulling up scans of the beast's corpse. "There's no physical damage, no trauma, no ruptured organs. Its heart, brain, everything is intact. It's as if its life force just vanished." Sarah grinned, leaning back in her chair. "Maybe it died of embarrassment after getting owned by Amelia." Marcus snorted, a rare smirk cracking his stern face. "Or shocked that someone actually hit it." Amelia ignored the jabs, her focus on the tablet. "Let me see the footage again." She replayed the video, slowing it to the pivotal moment. Her hand met the beast's scaled face, and right before impact, its eyes shifted, pupils dilating, a flicker of something raw. "There," she said, pointing. "Look at its eyes. They changed right before I hit it." Dr. Patel leaned closer, nodding. "Yes, a dilation. It could be a fear response. But why would it fear me?" Amelia pressed, frowning. "I'm no match for it physically." Sarah chuckled. "Maybe it sensed your confidence, or that killer glare you've got." Marcus grunted. "Or your stubbornness. Probably thought you'd never back down." Amelia smirked, but pressed on. "I think it's more than that. What if the beast has a psychic component to how it hunts?" Dr. Patel's eyebrow shot up. "Psychic? That's a bold hypothesis." "It's just a hunch," Amelia admitted. "But if it's true, it could explain this." Sarah clapped her hands, eyes gleaming. "Let's test it. Next beast we see, we all slap it and see who wins." Marcus groaned. "Please no. I like to keep my hands attached." Amelia laughed, the tension easing for a moment. "One slap's enough for now, but need to dig deeper. There's a piece missing here, and I think it's the key to what really happened." As the team settled back into their routines, Amelia lingered by the screen, replaying the footage in her mind. That flicker in the beast's eyes haunted her. Little did she know, the truth was closer than she thought, lurking just beyond the jungle's edge, waiting to unravel everything they believed about Varaxia and its deadliest predator. Chapter 7. The jungle's humid air clung to the team as they gathered in a cramped tent, the faint glow of a portable screen casting long shadows. Amelia stood at the center, her sharp green eyes blazing with conviction. Around her, Marcus, Sarah, and Dr. Patel leaned in, their faces a mix of skepticism and curiosity. Outside, Varaxia's eerie sounds, chirps, rustles, and distant roars formed a tense backdrop. Amelia clutched a tablet, its screen displaying scans of the Varaxian beast's brain, and took a deep breath. "I've cracked it," she declared, her voice steady but electric. The Varaxian beast wasn't just a predator. It was psychic. Marcus's arms crossed, his scarred jaw tightening. "Psychic? You're pulling her leg, right?" "No way," Sarah said, her curls bouncing as she leaned forward. "You're saying this thing was what? Reading our minds?" Amelia nodded, tapping the tablet to zoom in on the scans. "Exactly. Every story about the beast mentions how its victims froze in terror, how it got stronger the more they panicked. I felt it when it charged us, a pressure in my head like it was trying to make me afraid. But I pushed back. I wasn't scared, I was pissed. Dr. Patel adjusted his glasses, his voice cautious. Intriguing. The brain scans do show unusual energy patterns, almost like it was drawing on an external source. Sarah snapped her fingers, grinning. So when you slapped it, you cut off its snack supply. No fear, no power. Exactly.